Philadelphia.
And we thank Ms. Spade for having such a great idea. And we thank you for watching Nightly News on this Friday. I'm Tom Yamas in New York. Have a great night.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
Hafa day, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. You're watching KUAM News Weekend Edition. Thanks for joining us. The man convicted in a deadly beating in Dededo won his appeal in the Supreme Court of Guam. Defendant Brancy Wallaby, who is serving 21 years in prison for manslaughter, was granted his request to be resentenced. Justices ruling the sentencing was illegal, stating he is a first offender. The case was remanded back to the Superior Court for a judge to decide his new fate. As KUAM reported, Wallaby and his brother, Jaron, were accused in a deadly 2022 attack along Fatima Road that claimed the life of Arnold Naroon. Prosecutors noted Brancy never expressed remorse for the crime, adding he is not a U.S. citizen and faces deportation. A new sentencing date had not yet been set. A man sentenced to a decade in prison for raping a woman will get a new trial. Defendant Paris Sharp won his appeal before the Supreme Court of Guam. Defendants argued he was falsely accused. A jury convicted Sharp of third-degree criminal sexual conduct back in June 2023. Justices ruled the trial court abused its discretion when it admitted the complaining witness's written statement to police as a prior consistent statement. The court concluded that the entire defense was that the victim's fabrication was not recent, but that the allegations were fabricated from the outset. The court also found the error was not harmless because the complaining witness's credibility was a dispositive issue at trial, and the wrongly admitted evidence allowed the prosecution to bolster the complaining witness on this critical issue. The Supreme Court vacated the judgment of conviction and remanded for a new trial. While several candidates failed to file their campaign contribution expenditures, according to the Guam Election Commission, it has the GEC taking a harder stance, giving candidates a final reminder before they'll be forced to take action. The Guam Election Commission is increasing enforcement against Decision 2024 candidates who failed to file their campaign contribution expenditure. GEC Chairman Jerry Crisostomo shocked to learn just how many did not file during a recent GEC meeting.
This is too many people that haven't filed.
Yeah, you have some people here that actually won, like this CCU commissioner didn't file at all, period, and he won a seat. So I think we need to put beef into this.
Several still have not filed despite being contacted multiple times, according to GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan.
There are no fines. We do contact them, and we just patiently wait until they file.
So at some point, do we refer this to the Attorney General's office for the filings? I mean, if they fail to file after numerous attempts.
The commission has a duty to take action, according to legal counsel Vince Camacho.
The commission has the authority to either fine or file something with the Attorney General's office. In the past, the commission has fined for violations, which can include failure to file. But that's up to you guys to discuss.
Commissioners expressing their concerns during the meeting as it's an issue GEC has faced in previous elections.
I'm just concerned that if we don't, there's quite a few here, we don't do anything, then they just get away with it, and there's then precedence that the commission doesn't really do anything. Yeah. So why would I have to file? Couldn't be published in the paper, all those that fail to file?
Pangilinan recommending to give candidates one more chance to file their campaign contribution expenditures, GEC sending a final formal letter allotting them 10 more days. Those who still fail to file may be fined and reported to the Attorney General's office.
You have individuals here that actually won seats that didn't file preliminary or final.
Meantime, Pangilinan tells KUAM some ended up filing since GEC held their meeting. As of Friday, she estimates about 9 still have yet to file, but she finds many simply did not, as they did not spend any money during the campaign. Meantime, the list of candidates is to be made public. KUAM reached out for a copy. Guam's longtime and only pathologist, Dr. Mohammed Al-Saban, is soon to retire. Dr. Al-Saban has been providing his services to both the Guam Memorial Hospital and Guam Regional Medical City. GMH spokesperson Cindy Hansen tells KUAM he provided notice to GMH of his retirement early on to allow the hospital to find his replacement. Hansen says Dr. Al-Saban is currently on leave. She adds he is leaving in early 2025, but until that time, he is still with GMHA. We are welcoming a new pathologist, Dr. Gerald Scott, who arrived on island in mid-December. According to GRMC's website, Dr. Al-Saban is held as a medical detective who examines tissue and blood samples looking for evidence of disease. GRMC says he plays a critical role in diagnosing and evaluating disorders using the sophisticated tools available to him as the medical director of the GRMC lab. Well, there are 99 new hospital fees at the Guam Memorial Hospital that residents and private insurances should take note of. The new fee items were submitted by various hospital departments from August to October, according to Saidi Taisakan, GMH Revenue Cycle Management Director. There are 23 charges for gastroenterology, 5 under interventional radiology, 4 for laboratory, 2 from obstetrics acute department, 1 from OR, 1 for pharmacy, 1 for podiatry, 31 for pulmonary, 1 for special services, and 1 new charge for surgery. During the public hearing on the new fees, Staywall Insurance Vice President Dr. Anthony Mendiola questioned a new facility fee for an outpatient clinic that he noted went against industry trends. Taisakan confirming GMH will be billing private insurances for outpatient services separately as a facility fee for the first time. The GMHA board is not expected to meet until January. The new fee package will go to the 38th Guam legislature for their approval. In the meantime, you can find the full list of the new hospital fees on KUAM.com. Well, ever wondered how people perform their jobs across the globe, or what it will be like to step into the shoes of your future aspirations? For the Kokoku High School students from Osaka, Japan, this dream became a reality as they marked their 20th visit to Guam with a special trip to meet our island's first responders. Destiny Cruz Langis has a story.
Keeping the flame burning bright for over a decade, the Kokoku High School, one of Osaka's largest boys' schools, is back for their 20th visit to Guam since 2004. But it's not just a trip. It's an opportunity for students to see how their dream jobs are done in the real world, witnessing it firsthand. Yoko Kusajima is the school's principal.
We have 2,500 boys in our high school, and this tour is only for the want to be the fireman and the policeman and the kindergarten teacher.
One's like high school junior Seishi Yuki, who has a fire in his heart for this profession.
I want to become fireman.
Yuki and his classmates getting a taste of what that entails at the Guam Fire Department's Dededo Station, which serves the island's largest population. From simulations,
1 minute to get ready to respond to fire. So now we have volunteer. 1 minute to get ready. Oh, time.
To demonstrations. Okay. It was a day sparking inspiration for these young learners. Fire Lieutenant James A. Pangilinan leaving this piece of advice for those looking to walk in his fire boots.
Every day we handle emergencies, and every emergency is not the same. So we always got to prepare ourselves for the next one that's going to be called upon us. Strive to do your best, always wanting to do more for your community, especially your people. For us, our island, we're always wanting to do more for our island, try to give back to our community.
The students also visiting the Guam Police Department, a local school, and ending their tour by sharing a bit of their culture, a dance called the Yosakoi.
Twin brothers Brandon and Landon Idlet have become island icons for their tireless work bringing you the weather. But they're equally known throughout the community for their service, raising funds to help provide for those in need with the Tower for Humanity project that sees them and their team build Guinness Book of World Record replicas of popular structures with Lincoln logs, and for their ability to provide for their neighbors, the inspiration they create in others, and the pride they exhibit every day as Guamanian transplants from North Carolina. They've been honored with the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. See what makes them tick and how they've made Guam their home and service their calling.
Okay, so boys, congratulations once again, not on what you have done or the plans that you were making, which everybody knows you for, or the service you provide to the community, but for getting this recognition and, and really being honored, by the highest levels for the amount of work that you guys do in community service, for the diversity of projects that you do, and also, I know you guys, and I know your character, you don't do this, to get the spotlight shown on you and everything like that, but at the same time, this actually gives you even more of a platform to do more work in the community.
Yeah, it brings some degree of legitimacy that didn't exist otherwise with our tower projects. And so, every project is unique. We plot it out and we brainstorm and take something that seems large and impossible and make it a reality. But it's really always for a great excuse for us to build something new and unique, but also highlight a cause in the community and help people in need in our community.
Brandon, and this shows that, you can really make big, significant, high impact change doing something fun that everybody can relate to.
Absolutely. The unique thing about this, and I guess a lot of charity organizations, is that it's not just one person. It's a team of people. It's building an event. You get a lot more people interested, and now you've got a full-blown engagement going on. You've got a lot of coverage, you've got media, you've got a lot of hype building in a community, and that's really how a lot of these types of events, charitable events, that's how they gain traction and really make a difference in a community.
And Landon, that's the one thing about the Towers for Humanity projects that have always impressed me so much is you integrate all these other nonprofit organizations and people that care about the community, and you bring them into the fold, as Brandon just said.
Yeah,
it's for one huge positive experience.
That's exactly it, and that's what we strive for ever since our world record event in 2022. We never foresaw all of this happening after that one tower at the Agani Shopping Center, and as people request different projects and different collaborations.
The playoff race is shaping up, so this Monday's matchup for Sunday Night Football is sure to be a nail-biter. It's an NFC game where the first-place Atlanta Falcons head to D.C. to meet the Commanders and their potent offense led by rookie phenom Jaden Daniels. Don't miss kickoff at 11:20 on KUAM TV8 and streaming on Peacock. One of the most treasured SoCal holiday celebrations is taking shape in Pasadena, California. Rick Montanez has a preview of this year's Rose Parade floats.
The final week before the Rose Parade, and now we are seeing all the volunteers hard at work getting everything ready for these floats, putting on all of those intricate details and the gorgeous colors. And then, of course, there's all the cool themes behind a lot of these. The one you're seeing in front of us, this is the U.S. Army float that will be featured this year, and it is called This Will Defend 250 Years of Service. Stefan Pollock is here to talk about this one. Has a special meaning just like all the other floats do.
All the floats here at Artistic Entertainment Services have really wonderful meanings. The Rose Parade, best day ever. There's so many different wonderful floats that bring that and embody that. The U.S. Army float is really a spectacular float that definitely embodies that. They're celebrating 250 years of service. Celebrating their historic motto, "This we will defend." It's really an impressive float. Starting at the front of the float with George Washington and going all the way back to going up to present day of 2025 with the unmanned aircraft operator. Really, it's just a wonderful representation of.
Yeah, and so many of these floats that Ernie can show us here of these volunteers are hard at work. Hundreds of volunteers today alone will be putting on touches on a lot of these floats.
Yes, we have the Go Bowling float. We have the Love to You float, which is the first time in the parade, celebrating the wonderful cultural representation and heritage between Vietnam and America. And they're celebrating the Lunar New Year that's coming up in January. Just a wonderful message about the boat trip that so many people have brought over, have come over and celebrated their good life here in America. We have the San Diego Zoo float, which is a wonderful message about conservation. They were last year's sweepstakes winner. They always bring a wonderful float this year with the Panda Ridge on top of their float.
And for people who want to still volunteer, there's time for that.
There still is time to decorate. If you go to aescreative.com/volunteers, there's all the forms that people can fill out. Come on down and enjoy the fun.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a lot of people have fun, and I got to say, it's pretty daring to watch some of them up on the scaffolding and really just kind of hanging out on top to put those special touches on.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. It's not for the faint of heart, but they really are. I mean, they're on top of all these floats, up on scaffolding, dangling, painting underneath areas, sticking glue under areas. It's really
it takes some bravery. So you heard it. There's still a chance to volunteer down here and help put these finishing touches on these beautiful floats before we see them on TV. In Pasadena, I'm Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
Watch the Rose Parade on Thursday, January 2nd at 11 a.m. on KUAM TV8. Okay, well, it's that time, and for the final time this year, we look back at KUAM history, and one of our greatest traditions is coming up with clever Christmas videos where we enlist everyone in our cast and crew. So here's a snapshot of the memories we've created for the holidays over 7 decades.
KUAM, a legacy of local, a legacy of first. Presented by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Christmas is Jesus' birthday. The story of Christmas when Jesus is born. Jesus' birthday. He was born on a farm.
Happy day, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I'm Peter Santos.
And Happy Holidays. I'm Tyler Mastinani.
A few years back, it was the very first time we were all together as a family.
Know that over here at KUAM Sports, we got this, Guam.
In the frosty air, what a bright time, it's a bright time to rock the night away.
Holiday, Christmas fever and cheers.
Woo! 2, 1. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
KUAM, a legacy of local, a legacy of first. Presented by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Get ready for another KUAM News special, this one highlighting the top stories of 2024. That's a Wrap is the name of the show your KUAM News team is bringing to your screens to end out the year. On Tuesday, December 31st, watch as we look back at the top stories to hit our airwaves in 2024. From an historic election season to the games in Paris, 2024 was filled with highs and lows and impacted us all here in the Marianas. Watch That's a Wrap, Top Stories of 2024 on New Year's Eve at 6:30 p.m. following KUAM News Primetime on TV8, KUAM's YouTube channel, and on Peacock. Well, stick around. We have more coming up on Weekend Edition. You're watching KUAM.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores?
Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
This holiday, would you rather buy this TV or get one for free? For a limited time only, bring home a free 43-inch Samsung Smart TV when you sign up on Link with DTV Plus today. Just imagine your favorite movies, shows, and more, all in stunning quality on your brand new screen. Visit DocomoPacific.com or see us in store to learn more. Docomo Pacific, better together.
Fresh off of competing in Season 2 of the Netflix series Rhythm and Flow, artist Jay Taj is humbled by the outpour of support, praise, and recognition of his talent from everyone, especially Guam. Jonigan Charfers checks in with Jay after 7 years since their first interview.
This pipe dream for 20 years, and then suddenly in 3 weeks, that pipe just bursted and it's no longer a pipe dream, you know what I mean? So certainly everything you can imagine in terms of the way my life has shifted in just a few days is 100% true. Everything is different than it was 3 weeks ago, and I'm grateful for it. I have no complaints. It's certainly a blessing, and I'll never look at it otherwise.
That's Jay Tahazi, also known as Jay Taj, sharing how it felt being a part of the Netflix hit show Rhythm and Flow Season 2, which just wrapped up. Jay was one of 14 selected for the show that sought out the next breakout hip-hop star. No stranger to performing in front of crowds, Jay said performing in front of judges, however, a whole different ballgame.
The way I approached that was the same way I've approached everything that makes me nervous, and it is just kind of remembering this fight or flight reality of our instincts as human beings. You have a small period of time when your nerves are building up where you choose, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna fight, or I'm gonna run. And I'm gonna run usually leads to forgetting your lyrics, stumbling over your words, doing awkward movements on stage, and I've been lucky enough to be performing for long enough to know that if you choose, I'm gonna do this. This is what I came here to do, I'm gonna do this. What's the worst that could happen? I do it and they don't like me, so what? Then I'll be okay.
And boy, was he more than okay. The second he said his name and heard it through the monitor, he knew he was right at home. Episode after episode, Jay impressed the superstar judges like Ludacris and DJ Khaled, and special judges like Eminem and Busta Rhymes, praising his caliber of talent.
But DJ Khaled was giving me feedback and he said, congratulations, you deserve to be here. And that to me was like, I don't care what happens with this show. I have been questioning if I'm an imposter in this world of art and in this world of hip hop, because I've been doing it for 20 years and I've never quite broke this glass ceiling that has just always been there. And so for this man that everyone in hip hop looks up to, and everyone in hip hop and music in general, we revere this man for his accomplishments and his ability, more importantly, DJ Khaled's ability to identify talent. For him to look at me and my art and say something like, congratulations, you deserve to be here, greatest compliment I could have ever received. There were so many great things they said to me that I'll carry with me forever. You're polished, you're ready, you're a star. All these things are great. I love it. Thank you so much. But you deserve this? Nothing tops that.
In the end, Jay was runner-up, an outcome many didn't agree with. But being on that stage and being able to represent the Pacific Islander community is a feeling that surpasses winning.
The feedback that I've received from the world is obviously overwhelmingly positive, and it's overwhelmingly endearing. And I feel like people are embracing me for who I am just as much as they embrace me for what I do. But specifically, Polynesians, Micronesians, Melanesians from every corner of the world have found their way into my inbox. They have found their way into the commentary sections of every social media platform, and it's all love.
Jay purposely inserted moments of representation throughout the competition that went beyond his words.
I talked about being a Pacific Islander extensively on the show, but you know, the show is 6 weeks of footage being crammed into 10 hours, right? So they chose the storylines that they chose. And I knew in the back of my mind, I've been a Pacific Islander my whole life. I know this story is hard to connect to if you don't know it. If you have no connection to it, if you're just an editor from the United States and you have no connection to the importance and the significance of Pacific Islanders in the world, why would you? You know what I'm saying? And I knew that before I went in. So the hats and the pins, and I made sure that the back of my head, I wasn't gonna get my head blasted until after the show. And I thought about it like, man, you know what they can't do? They can't cut out the back of my head. They can't cut out, you know, the artwork that's on my hats. They can't cut out the pins that are on my chest. I know that there's ways I can communicate to my people in the world and tell them I'm one of you and I'm here with you, and I'm not just here by myself, I'm here with my village. I did it through these mediums.
And since the show wrapped, Jay is the same Jay, just a lot more busier.
My life changed immediately, right? I think that conversations change. Even if they're conversations I've had in the past, the tone changes. The things I bring to the table are taken a little bit more seriously now.
And with the year coming to a close, what does 2025 have in store?
I continue this mission that got me to Rhythm and Flow in the first place, right? Number one, try to be a good human being and try to connect with people in a positive way and spread love in whatever way that I can. Continue to make art at a high level so that people can connect with it.
And 7 years ago, when I first interviewed Jay, he had dreams of coming to Guam, something that at the time seemed impossible. Now?
It's beyond possible. It's absolutely happening. And so we are in conversations with some of my, my family and my brothers over there at Crowns. And, what it is, we don't know yet, but we know for sure it is. And we're doing it. And we want to make sure that when we do it, it's done with respect. It's done with gratitude. It's done with care. And it's done in a way that is honorable. You know what I mean? I don't think me coming to Guam is about me. It's about Guam. And I want to come to a place that I've dreamed of coming since I was a little boy. And I've never had the opportunity. When I do come to Guam, I hope that I get to experience it in the way that I've always dreamed of. And that is to soak up, the energy and the spirit of my ancestors and to be able to leave something behind when I do make the trek back home that has just as much love and positivity as the culture that I've grown up to know and love. You know what I mean?
In knowing the island has a booming music community, he had this advice.
Is use what feels like a disadvantage as your advantage. To the artists on Guam, you have stories that no one else in the world has. And hip-hop is an art form where we tell our stories. You don't need to tell the Compton story. You don't need to tell the Long Beach story. You need to tell the Guam story. And I don't even know that story. So as a fan, if an artist got on a record, like my boy Jed, shout out to Jed, if an artist gets on a record and tells me something I've never heard before, I'm immediately a fan, which I was immediately a fan of him, right? And there's so many other artists on Guam that I love. As Pacific Islanders, it is in our DNA to travel and traverse into places we've never been before. And this is what we do. This is how we ended up on Guam. This is how we ended up all over the world because we were not afraid to voyage into places that seemed impossible to voyage into.
And to end?
To my people on Guam is thank you. Like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for accepting me, even though I feel so far away and I feel so distant. Everyone who's reached out in the DMs, everyone who's sent emails, who has messaged me on Facebook, I see it all. And when the Guam flags are spammed all in the messages, I see it. And when I find out you're my cousin's auntie's cousin, I see you, you are my family, and I'm grateful that you're grateful. And that is a reciprocated feeling. The gratitude is at an all-time high, that the love is there, and that the joy is there, and that I can be part of that. And I can't wait to see y'all.
We'll see you soon, Jay. Jennifer Charfus, KUAM News.
Sports is next. Keep it here.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Jamaican grill. Jamaican grill. Jamaican grill. What's for lunch and for dinner? You want something good? Yeah. Yeah, man. Serious food. Jamaican grill. Jamaican grill. Jamaican grill. What's for lunch and for dinner? You want something good? Yeah, man. Serious food. Happy birthday. K-Y-F-E-A-Y. Happy birthday. Jamaican grill. Yeah, man, serious food.
This holiday season begins at Kmart, where every aisle is filled with magic. Discover the perfect toy that sparks joy and gifts that bring smiles. Kmart has all the ingredients you need to make your family traditions special without breaking the bank. From trimming the tree to filling your home with holiday cheer, you'll find it all in one place. Discover the magic waiting for you at Kmart, where busy families find everything they need to make memories that last a lifetime. Kmart, for the holidays, for the family, for the magic.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Okay, guys, when last we spoke, you guys were having this this amazing educational opportunity for first aid, specifically for rugby. Of course, the sport requires a certain level of preparation, a certain amount of awareness, and a certain amount of medical response from learned professionals like you. Where do we now take this so that you can, prepare the coaches, possibly, even parents, maybe?
Yes, so we're kicking off our first set of courses and we're offering it to the high school rugby coaches. They are the ones that we want to start with primarily because both the girls and the boys are full contact. And so that is going to be the priority as far as improving player safety. So requiring that of the coaches is only going to have overlap across all of the teams, as well as improving that safety and that response. So everyone's on the same page as what to do if a player goes down.
Now, Paul, with team managers are very often, like students at the school themselves. Could they attend to and just get like an idea of what to do?
At this point, we're just trying to keep it primarily to the coaches because they play multi-roles, of course, at practice and at the games. So it's a little bit easier for us to kind of make sure that what they're learning is also transpiring in practice because they also contact at practice.
Okay. Now this course is basically like first aid, again, for the sport, right? What are we talking about in terms of just like being able to respond and then having that point of delineation where you say, okay, I know this, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured, right? And we need more serious permanent medical care.
Yeah, so I think it's just overall improvement on player management. And so, identifying when an athlete is down and what exactly to do versus coming into that type of event and not knowing what to do or even how to move the student from the field safely. And so then at that point, everyone will have a collective understanding on what's to be done, who would be in charge, who would make those decisions and how those instructions would be met across other people because it's a team effort to have a player moved from the field safely. And ultimately we do have emergency medical services required at the field, but in the event that there are multiple players down, that would be our secondary, that would be what we would fall back on.
And the coaches know their players better than anybody in the world, so they could at least say, we're not getting you to the point where you can be like an EMT or a combat medic, but you can possibly recognize the signs of like a concussion or something.
Correct. And at the very least, do no harm, meaning not add more injury to the already injured athlete.
How long is the course, and what does it entail?
So we both actually went through the course. It's a fairly long course, but because it involves a lot of aspects outside of what would be considered major events like a traumatic brain injury or a concussion, as well as a spinal cord injury, we have other things like, I don't know if you want to elaborate on other types of injuries, Paul.
Well, any type of abrasions, any broken bones, things like that. Just management and care. Basically, like you said, like Tassi said, being able to recognize and not do anything to hurt them any further.
Yeah.
I know that was like the old school way. They basically say, "Hey, coach, I think I twisted my ankle. I just walk it off."
Yeah. Oh yes. So maybe
Thank God we're past that
having
place.
having better steps on what to do in the event a sprained ankle occurs on the field, and someone who doesn't have higher levels of training in being able to address that is there, and that way they know what exactly not to do, number one, and what to do to keep that player safe.
Okay, and when we talk about coaches, we're talking about like not just high school, but also clubs, national team, possibly even middle school?
Eventually. Yeah. And so we're hoping to roll out these courses again, because there's only 2 certified World Rugby educators. So that's myself and the rugby captain for the women's team, Olivia Elliott. And so, ultimately we have to kind of organize it across different areas of rugby on island.
There's no better tool than preparation, right?
Yes.
No one knows that better than you guys. Okay, and we're also getting ready for another tournament, so this dovetails really nice into saying.
Yep. So speaking of being prepared, well, we're trying to. Right now, there's a all-girls tournament in Hong Kong, March 21, 22. So we're actively recruiting young girls, U14, U16, and U18. We use this kind of using it as a tool. Basically, it's going to be managed by our women's national team management staff and kind of being taken care of from the women's team. So this is kind of our give back to this year. I think that's our biggest push for the women's team with retention and also being able to start showing these young ladies like international experience. I mean, that's one thing that they lack. I mean, now some girls are, 4 years ago before COVID, 2 of the girls from those squads actively participate within the national setup. So it's a huge, 2 girls doesn't sound like a lot, but it does when you only have 12 players.
How important is it that we're actually reaching kids when they're really, really young, not just for, development or the fundamentals and everything like that, but giving them, that international experience and even the mindset of saying like, let me go up against the best.
For us, everything's all about just skill development and there's a process for everything. So a lot of times we get older girls that lack some of the skill sets needed. So being young, being impressionable, then we can start working on the smaller skills. And then as they get older, then it's unit skills and things like that.
And the both of you have seen, rugby from its early days, maybe 20 years ago to where it is now.
Him more than me. Him more than me.
Well, both of you have been on the pitch and behind the scenes.
Yes.
So how far have we come and how much further do we have to go to realize the vision?
The last couple of years, they've been a huge push within collegiate for the kids to play collegiate rugby. So that was good. Of course, COVID kind of hampered us in terms of us having men's teams. So we got the men's program back on track. The women's have been on track for the last 2 years. So realistically, it's just getting more games. Our biggest issue is that we're so far from everyone else.
Yeah.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Something is calling, and I can't help it. Let's come along when there ain't no song. Watch me as I go. This is my mood when I make a move. Watch me as I go. This is my mood when let's take a break. There's no use. My mood when I make a move. This is my mood when I
don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Time for your weekend birthday club shoutouts. Thanks to our friends at Cone Stone Creamery.
Happy birthday on Sunday to Crystal George. Crystal, this is coming from your other half, V, and the family. We wish you a wonderful birthday.
That's going to do it for us here on Weekend Edition. Just visit KUAM.com or follow us at KUAM News on social media for the latest news. For now, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. Good night.